What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. My name's Kyle. In this video, it's Monday evening, September 18th. We have a doubleheader going on. Two Monday Night Football games on tonight. So excited for that. I'm going to be going over a quick little waiver wire report. Now, it is Monday night. This is kind of a preliminary report. I'm just kind of doing this to get ahead of the game here. We do have a live show tomorrow night scheduled on Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Time. So if you guys want to come with questions, please come tomorrow night, Tuesday evening. But let's get right into it. I have a bunch of injuries to monitor here. We're looking at the quarterbacks, Joe Burrow, calf injury. I'm not sure if he's going to play Monday Night Football. It doesn't look good at the moment, but he's probably 50-50 questionable to play. Anthony Richardson with the concussion. He started off so good at the beginning of that game, so it's unfortunate he wasn't able to finish. Now he's going to be a 50-50 shot to play as well. We'll see if he can clear concussion protocol. Running backs, Austin Eckler, questionable with an ankle injury. He's probably on track to play this week. Saquon Barkley, though, he's got an ankle sprain. He's going to be missing probably at least 3 games. That's been the rumor so far. The MRIs came back negative, which is good, but he's got a high ankle sprain. It looks like he's going to be out for a few games. We'll talk about some guys on the waiver wire. Travis Etienne dealing with some cramps. He's fine. Aaron Jones, we'll see if he can practice with that hamstring injury. David Montgomery's got a thigh bruise. They're listing him as day-to-day. He's got a chance to play this weekend. We'll talk about his replacement if we need to. Kenneth Gainwell, questionable with the ribs. I think he's going to be back in the mix here. Backup running back Salvin Ahmed for the Dolphins. Got a groin, questionable. Boston Scott, questionable with concussion. He should be 50-50 to play at best. Devontae Adams, concussion. It sounds like he's going to be good, though. That the report sounded decent there. Amon-Ra St. Brown. I have him listed as cramps, probable, but then I looked further into it, and he's got a little bit of a toe injury that we're going to have to monitor this week. You also have DK Metcalf, ribs, probable. He did come back from his injury. Jalen Waddle, concussion. He might be in jeopardy of missing this one. Amari Cooper, groin. He's going to probably play tonight, so we might be able to pull him off this injury list here. Watson, hamstring. Deontay Johnson, they put him on IR, so he's unfortunately out for the next 4 games. We'll look at Allen Robinson and Calvin Austin III on the waiver wire. Odell Beckham, questionable with an ankle. Brandon Cooks, we'll see if he can go with that knee injury. Jacoby Myers should play. He did miss last week with a concussion. Darnell Mooney, knee injury, and Logan Thomas, concussion. So those are the main injuries that I'm tracking so far. As far as quarterbacks this week, if you're streaming somebody, I do think Brock Purdy at New York Giants is probably the most preferred one. I don't hate Jared Goff versus Atlanta. Matthew Stafford, maybe against Cincinnati on Monday Night Football could be fun. Maybe Baker Mayfield against Philadelphia. And then for Superflex leagues, you're monitoring Desmond Ridder, Josh Dobbs, and Gardner Minshew. Now, I do say these quarterbacks should be owned. Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, Lamar, Burrow, Herbert, Fields, Lawrence, Watson, Cousins, Dak, Tua, and Geno. If any of those quarterbacks were owned, please go ahead and make sure you grab them in your 1QB leagues. Otherwise, I don't mind streaming Brock Purdy. We got to see about Brandon Ayuk, though. That might take some steam off that. And then Jared Goff versus Atlanta, not a bad one at home. He does score more points at home. Otherwise, I do like Stafford at Cincinnati. But the meat of this episode will be about the running backs. I think you got to continue holding Josh Kelly, Jerick McKinnon. You can hold him, hold Ezekiel Elliott. Now, the guys that I want to talk the most about, Kieran Williams, he's under 60% owned in ESPN leagues. He needs to be rostered for the rest of the season. The Rams basically said he's their guy. He's the starting running back the entire season as long as he's healthy. The other guy that I want to make sure we highlight here is Zach Moss. He's under 30%. So I'm assuming most people went and got Kieran Williams, last week on the waiver wire. But Zach Moss, low owned here. He's going to be the bell cow guy. They actually didn't even give another running back a snap other than Zach Moss. So he is the guy going forward. He's going to be a priority pickup. Otherwise, I do like noting here Kenneth Gainwell, 56%. Charbonnet still a hold for me. Elijah Mitchell, Devin Singletary, these guys are just kind of backup handcuffy right now. Jalen Warren, we'll see how he looks tonight. I still like holding on to Warren. Gus Edwards looks to be like the guy that I would prefer in that backfield, even though Justice Hill did catch passes. But both Ravens running backs likely to be a decent stash and low-end RB2 play this week. Stash Roschon Johnson, it looks like he's starting to take over, and he could be the starting back very soon. Deion Jackson droppable, Tank Bigsby hold. Stash A-Chain, stash Chuba Hubbard. We'll get a look at him tonight. And then stash Tajay Spears. He's continuing to look good with his touches. Jerome Ford, maybe hold. We'll see him tonight. And then Kendre Miller, stash him. I don't know if he's going to play tonight, but I like a lot of those guys here. And again, the top ad is going to be Zach Moss, Kieran Williams. Otherwise, you guys can kind of see some of the stars that I have labeled there for you. And then deep stash handcuffs. If David Montgomery is out, Craig Reynolds is going to be the guy that I'm probably going to end up starting in my RB2 spot because I have Montgomery in a few leagues. We'll note Gary Brightwell. We'll note Eric Gray. We'll note Matt Breida. But honestly, guys, I don't want to play these guys if you need to play them on Thursday Night Football against the San Francisco 49ers, it's probably not ideal. So we'll talk more about those guys tomorrow. I'm not really excited about it, but that's your handcuff stash list. I do like Ty Chandler. I think he's going to start to see more work as Alexander Madison has struggled a little bit here. Wide receivers. Nico Collins needs to be owned. I'm sure he's probably not available in your most important leagues, but I did need to note him. He's 61% owned. Otherwise, the guys that I really, really want down here, Jaden Reed, Josh Reynolds, and Tank Dell. I think these guys are fringe starters, especially Josh Reynolds right now. As long as he is doing what he's doing, 2 touchdowns, he's heavily involved in that offense as the wide receiver too. You also have Amon-Ra St. Brown dinged up with a little toe injury thing right now. So Reynolds is probably a plug-and-play wide receiver 3 flex for this foreseeable future. And then, guys, I really like Tank Dell. I know it was a game against the Colts secondary. I know they threw the ball a lot. But Tank Dell was the leading target man for C.J. Stroud in this one. 11 targets. I think he went 7 for 70 and a touchdown. I think he had another touchdown called back too. So Tank Dell, to me, is probably a guy that I want on my team the rest of the way. So I love both these players. Try and get both if you can on the end of your bench. I do want to note Calvin Austin III. I'm watching for him tonight to see if he looks good. But otherwise, just other names to mention here. If Romeo Dobbs is out there, hold him. If Tutu Atwell's out there, I still like him. I still like Rashid Shaheed. He needs to be higher percent owned here. Stash Jonathan Mingo. If he has a good game tonight, we'll be talking about him. Otherwise, Jaden Reed. Marvin Mims made a big play. Robert Woods looks good. There's some good pieces here. We'll see about Donovan Peoples-Jones tonight. See about Jalen Hyatt maybe as a stash play. But for sure, Reynolds, you know what? Devontae Parker looked really good as the number 1 wide receiver for Mac Jones last night too. So those are some of the receivers I'm looking at. Tight ends, the rookies, man. Kincaid, Laporta. These are the must target. If they're still available, please go get them. Otherwise, it's Hunter Henry for me, man. He's tight end 2 on the season right now. These 3 tight ends are the cream of the crop, waiver wire tight ends. Consolation is Zach Ertz. Consolation is Luke Musgrave, Tyler Conklin. And then don't sleep on these 2 guys, Cade Otton and Kylan Granson. They're kind of low-end priorities. But for sure, Kincaid and Laporta, make sure one of those guys, if they're out there, grab them. Otherwise, Hunter Henry. And if you can't get them, Ertz, Musgrave, Conklin, let me know if you have questions there. And then the teams that I'm starting this week on defense, go get the Patriots. They're under 60% owned. And then go get the Chiefs, man. At home against Chicago, that is the spot. I do have a couple stars listed on the Bengals, the Jags, the Jets. Maybe they were dropped. Maybe the Steelers were dropped. Check out some of these defenses and see if they're not out there. But for sure the Patriots, for sure the Chiefs. And hey, that's going to do it for me, guys, on this quick waiver wire video. I try to keep it short. We'll go live again tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central Time. We'll go live. Bring your questions. We'll see you guys there. Enjoy the doubleheader Monday Night Football game. Peace.